If you do not know what Black Panther means to the black community or to people of Africa, let me explain this to you. For me as an African, also a patriot, someone that loves Africa and a pro-black or pro-Africa, there's so many things that I see that is linked to this movie creatively and politically that I will explain to you later. Obviously guys, if you have watched Black Panther, then this video would make a lot of sense to you, and if you've not watched it, also it will give you a very good understanding of the movie and how much that films mean to black community or Africans, if you will, or ethnic minority. So first of all, I've seen so many people talking about this film, and something that I need to tell you is that you cannot compare the Black Panther with other films. This film stands alone. This film is its own entity, and you can only compare it with any other black superhero movie. And the reason why I'm saying that is because basically all these other Marvel superhero films, they have been there for time and they have almost like found their own audience, and they are quite cross-continental or universal. But Black Panther, I feel like for you to really dip the movie or for you to really love the movie, you do need to be, it has to be relatable to you or where you come from, which means you actually appreciate it more. So, first of all, let's start with Ryan Coogler, the man himself. I do give this man a huge credit, and the reason why I do give him credit because I've actually watched a lot of his movie. First of all being Fruitvale Station. Also, if you are ethnic minority or black or anyone, you do know that sometimes we do have injustice and we do have issues that so many people doesn't really see unless they affect them. And if you watch that first movie, you can tell justice is something that Ryan has been trying to portray for a long time, or trying to get people to see for a long time by using his storytelling ability. And obviously we can go to Creed, again, justice. And now going to Black Panther, that is a lot that we need to talk about. And I have actually put him in a higher box in the filmmaker that I do respect, because this guy is honestly going to be one of the best filmmakers to ever exist in our community. Now let's talk about the film itself. Watch till the end because I'm actually going to tell you what this film means to the black community or Africa when is creatively and politically, because there's actually a lot of messages that people are not seeing from the Black Panther. That's why when they just watch it, some people love the graphic and they judge it the way they want to. But for me as an African, also a patriot, someone that loves Africa and a pro-black or pro-Africa, there's so many things that I see that is linked to this movie creatively and politically that I will explain to you later. But first of all, let's give him a big shout out, because you can imagine when he wrote the script with a Chad in mind, and obviously submitting the script and knowing that the guy have passed, the trouble of going to almost reread the script or rewrite the script, that is a lot to do. And maybe that is the reason why the movie had to go this way. But again, Ryan, honestly, we appreciate how you've told the story and it's really good. Something that I really liked in the film is how they carry this child loss with themselves. When I was in the cinema, people actually say this movie is too long. But honestly, by the time I go inside, I sat on my chair, I kid you not, I was lost in the story. The reason why I was lost in the story is because first, I was really feeling sad to lose Chad as an actor. That is outside the cinema or outside the movie. And then as an audience, I also was looking how the kingdom of Wakanda, they are trying to cope by losing such a leader that protect the whole kingdom. So there was this parallel things going on between me and a human that is a fan of Chad, and also an audience that love Black Panther so much. So getting to see how my emotion and the people, the on-screen people's emotion merge, honestly, it was the best experience, and I can tell you this is the best movie. Obviously, there's a few things that we'll talk about later that might have been changed or that I did not make sense to me, but that is where I stand. This is the greatest movie ever made, in my opinion. Comment below if you agree, and comment below if you disagree, and comment below why you do agree or you disagree. So I also like how they started this film, remembering Chad or T'Challa. This was very good, and a lot of it, I guess it had to do with how they are almost like paying homage to him. And one thing that I would have loved is if they let him actually kind of die on screen, not off screen. And let me explain. So obviously he's dead, we do understand that, and I really felt like it would have been better if they found a way to get him to fight, or to maybe be in the movie like they did with Paul Walker or any other people. Obviously, guys, they have the technology, they do have the money, and killing him off screen, it gave me this sense of like, oh man, you would let the guy go on his shield. But again, the way they did it was good. I also love the dance, the symbol of respect and sending someone off. That was very good. And I honestly love the costume design. Some people do not really understand. African have been known for great costume, great print, the dance, the jewelry, and so many other things. And the only thing that I felt like was a bit overdone was Shuri's earring. Shuri's earring, there was huge, and to me, I don't know why they did it that way, but I hope they get to actually trying to match them with her body type, because if you see her body type comparing to the size of them things, they was big. In my culture, those earring, they mean more than just earring. So basically, let me give you a backstory. If you go hunting with your grandmother or granddad, and then you kill like a wild boar or you kill a wild pig, they take the tooth and then they make it into a necklace for you to wear. That is actually in my tradition. If you don't know, I'm from Congo, DRC. And for me, I don't think that thing was actually legit a freaking tooth, but it was too big, and that's the only thing that I would have corrected in the film. Comparing to the first Black Panther, this one was well done. From the costume, like I said, the lighting, the camera, the choreography, and just everything was great. You know, sometimes I get to see a movie, and when there's a fight between, let's say, the villain and someone, you can actually pause it and get to see the stunt double, because they kind of have this hardship of getting to cut properly or moving the camera properly. And the people with Black Panther, or the crew or the production team, they did very well in this movie. If you are a fan of movies, and I'm gonna tell you 3 movies that they kind of merge into the Black Panther. The first movie is the Avatar. So if you watch closely with the cast, especially Namor and the people of Talokan, you can see the resemblance of the Avatar. And I'm sure James Cameron, where he is right now, he's probably scratching his head, because they actually beat him to it by introducing the character that fights with whales, animals, sharks, whenever you name it. And the best thing I do like about this film, the effect was spot on. And like I said, it almost reminded me of Avatar. Like, again, the water was very accurate, which is quite hard to get when you're doing CGI. So again, that's another point going to the Wakandans, or the production of Black Panther. Another movie that this looks really similar to, especially again the people of Talokan, was Apocalypto by Mel Gibson. If you're a fan of movie, you would see the character almost look like the people from Apocalypto, which was good to actually see that that kind of like, I guess they might have taken inspiration from that. If I'm not mistaken, I saw a few similar faces that almost look like the same actor that was in the Apocalypto, which was great. So another thing that I did like about the movie is the whole idea of fighting for justice or protecting their wealth. So let me explain. If you do not know what Black Panther means to the black community or to people of Africa, let me explain this to you. Black Panther or Wakanda is considered as a fiction place which we refer as Africa. And obviously, you know, Africa is supposed to be beautiful. Africa has all the raw stuff. Africa is just Wakanda. That's how we say it. And the vibranium which they really are fighting for, we compare that as African raw material. As I am from Congo, like I said, so vibranium could be our natural resource such as gold, vibranium could be coltan, vibranium could be cobalt, and there's so many other places in Africa that produce raw material that we actually just send off and we don't really get much benefit from it. So there was a connection between this movie and how things are happening in Africa that you need to fully understand. As an artist, I had to link these two things together. There's countries such as Rwanda, Burundi, Tanzania, Mali, Gabon, Nigeria, Kenya, Togo, Botswana, you name it. They have so much about them that makes them unique, and they have so much raw material that it is in the country. And obviously the people from Wakanda trying to protect that from going abroad, because people like Congo, we get cobalt, we get all this stuff. People go and build so much things that we don't even get to see. So for me, looking at Black Panther and how they're fighting to protect everything, it kind of reminding of our ancestor and how much they did fight to protect everything. And this is something that I'm going to say. If you go to the British Museum, you see the Benin bronze, you see all these artifacts that does not belong there, which they also made a reference in the first film, in the first Black Panther. So can you imagine how hard our ancestor did fight so much? So many people lost our life to protect those things that have been now taken away. So every African kind of watch Wakanda like, right, this is how things could have been if we had the power to protect ourselves from and our resource from everything. And now the way the film is made is brilliant. So they are telling you, the people from Wakanda and the people from Talukan, let's come and fight, or no, let's come and fight for our own resource, so the West or the people from outside cannot come and take anything. That was the biggest message, because if you actually check when Namor came and saw Wakanda for the first time, he said, my mother told me a place like this, a place so beautiful, the air is so fresh, where the people did not have to live. That was very big for me, and that was a big takeoff for me, because you can imagine, I'm going to reference something, the Windrush ship that came, I think it was 1940, correct me if I'm wrong. Those people just enjoying their time, and there's, yo, we have to load you in the ship to go and build someone else's city. And once they've done that, they was actually used to a point that now some of them are being sent home. Some of them are being called immigrant. Why? Because their great-grandfathers, they have actually paid everything and they've done all the work, and now the work is done. People do not really need them. And to me, like I say, Wakanda has a big place in my heart, because being African and being someone that have seen how much this issue have affected us, our grandmothers, our great-grandmothers, our history, our peace, that film has a special place. So seeing how they actually put things together, I think it was more to do with the loss of Chad, and to me, the struggle of finding a king to protect the land, it's also linked to the struggle that we do have as African. you can see every place is actually struggling to find a great leader, and seeing Black Panther break through and Shuri becoming the woman Black Panther, that was actually a good thing, especially when you could see what she wanted was just to get revenge, and at the end she ended up linking the people from Wakanda and the people from Talukan. Another big message that you guys need to understand about Black Panther is the ending. So Black Panther and the people from Talukan, their idea is to actually be each other's friend so they can protect each other, in the sense of that if anyone attack them, they will be able to come and help each other, which also link to some of the biggest ideas that the world African leader have tried to put in our mind for a long time, but do you know where they ended up? In the coffin. So if you think about what Gaddafi was trying to do, his idea was to actually build a way of working together as African, but obviously when the West find out, I'm not saying anything, you know what happened. Another dude that had the same greatest idea was Saddam Hussein. Also same idea, but he ended up in a coffin. So Wakanda have a greater message than just watching a film. So imagine if those people that I've just said who are in a coffin, their idea would have been right. It would be properly linked to basically the people from Wakanda and Talukan together protecting each other's nation, which is something that people trying to stop us African from doing. And I hope this film will actually open a lot of people's mind. Also, something that I must say is the greatest performance from Angela. I hope she's gonna be recognized in this film and maybe go as far as being selected to the Oscar, or at least winning the Oscar, in my own opinion. But I do admire everyone's sacrifice for the movie, and the ladies, they really killed it with their choreography, their fighting ability. Again, as I said, the camera, the costume, everything was spot on. And the first one was lacking some CGI, but this one blended very well, and I did enjoy it. And someone that I felt like we need to know more about, or we need to see them more on screen and their ability to make things, it is the scientist. And I didn't really connect with her as a character, but I also hope in the next movie we get to see more from her. So if you watch the first Black Panther, every character was linked to King T'Challa, and it was very easy to understand the story. But if you watch the new one, there's so many other things linked to it that they really wanted us to understand very well. And I get to a point where I was actually, some of it was very relatable and other one was not. And I'm going to give you an example why. When you see Namor, and I didn't really feel his backstory, I did not feel sorry for him. I did not feel like I was emotionally connected to his, why he felt like he had to fight, why he was trying to protect his people. And I came to a conclusion is maybe because I'm not relatable to him, or his story does not resonate with me as a black person. But I'm sure other people felt that way. But when Killmonger actually was going through what he was going through, as a black person, I could feel that, because there's a lot of people who grow up without fathers. There's a lot of people who grow up without knowing their identity, and you finally fighting your hardest to get to see, wow, this is where my nation have been up to. And I could feel everything that he was going through. But I also like how they really introduce him and talk about his backstory, his mother, and the reason why she wanted to be buried in the land. And when he goes there, he found things being destroyed. And one thing that I really miss and I did not really understand, again, comments below if you can enlighten me, is that the people of Talukan, we only get to see them once or twice. And when Neymar leave, it's really like a few ladies that are there. And we didn't get to really know what they up to, how they got the vibranium, obviously how they built their weapons, so much thing that they had. We only got to see them when they was coming to fight, and they was so powerful. Another thing that I was quite confused with when Shaori got kidnapped by the people from Talukan, where she was kept, it was actually not very well secure. But the Talukan people are very strong. But I'm like, yo, why did you not keep her with them strong soldier? Again, I don't know the reason, but again, those are only few things that I felt like I did not really understand properly. Also, I do like how in this movie we actually got to see more of how the Wakandan lives. That was actually good to see them happy doing their business and just running as normal, which is great. So I can tell you visually and how they executed this film is actually very, very good. And if you just watch it to watch it without understanding the meaning why, you might judge this film. And something that I actually had to think about, so Wakanda, it's supposed to be, or it is an African story, but none of it was shot in Africa. That is fine. And the movie is actually marketed to the black community, which we're supposed to come, support, and love. And as someone who had to think again, I wonder how much proceeds of this film have to actually, like, do they build school somewhere in Africa? Do they actually do something with all the money that they make from the film? I do not know, but something that I can tell you, I did watch this movie and I was blown away by everything. And if you think it's not good enough, you need to shift your understanding of what this film means to the African community. Again, for people that love Black Panther, for people that love their country, for people that love Africa, and for people that understand the story behind, we should always support African filmmakers that are using their voice and their influence to speak about justice and to speak about things that make Africa a great place. That is it. Tell me if there's anything that you want to tell me about this film. Speak to you soon.